Hello and welcome to a very brief video to display the flea market haul from the New England Vintage Electronics Club September 30, 2023 flea market. And like I need more projects, like I need more Alzheimer's, but we went down there, took a ride down, and sitting on the free table was a Heathkit ignition analyzer. I forget when this was made, sometime in the 70s, I believe. I actually used to own one of these with all the accessories, the manual and everything else, and hadn't used it in years. Sold it, and less than 6 months later, somebody showed up with a vintage, I believe it was a 58 Chevy, trying to analyze an ignition problem. And we fixed it for him, but it sure would have been easier if I'd have hung on to the scope. Absolutely free now. I suspect that the high voltage section in this is dead, as it is in most of these old Heathkit scopes, but we'll find out. If the high voltage section is dead, then I'll bring it to my next selling flea market and put it on the free table. Somebody can use the knobs or the meter or parts. I'm sure, you know, somebody will pick it up and walk off with it. Okay, I'm breaking in here. I came down here this morning knowing that the October New England Amateur Radio Club Hamfest is coming up in about 2 weeks. And I said to myself, if this thing's got a dead power supply, I'm just going to throw it in the truck, and when I get there I'll set it back on the free table. And somebody will take it for parts, knobs, whatever. And I wish I had taken some close-up pictures of how filthy this thing was. I had looked at it 3-4 times and walked away. I said, nah, that thing is just way too nasty. There's no way it works. Every screw on it was rusted to the point where, you know, way past normal Heathkit rust. It was, you could tell this has been out in the rain or in a garage that leaked. I popped the cover off, checked a couple caps, looked okay, I plugged it in. It works. So then I took a little Windex and sprayed a little Windex on it. And I gotta tell you, this thing looks like it was built last week. This thing is almost flawless. It is underneath all of the filth that was on this thing. It looked like it had been dropped in a cesspit and then left in a cow barn. The thing is almost spotless, and it works. So all I've got to do is pick up a calibration manual. Right now it's in the calibration setting. The tachometer is swung up. I just got to pick up a manual for the thing. I'll order one. Or I can get them downloaded. I'll find one. And I'll have another ignition scope. Everything cleaned up. The cable's all cleaned up. The thing looks, like I said, it looks like it was built last week. I cannot believe how clean this came out. So that's a lesson to me and anyone else out there. If it's free, if nothing else, it's worth the parts. Grab it. Sitting right next to it was a 1956 Chevrolet Carr radio, 12 volt, with not one but 2 power supply sections. This has the OZ4 rectifier, the vibrator, and the audio output section, and plugs in via a cable to the receiver head. That was also free. If nothing else, it was worth grabbing it for all the tubes that are in it. The speakers are absolutely shot. There's no cones left at all in them, but it's always good to have spare tubes and spare parts. I also picked up this Emerson and this Silvertone, and I think I paid $30 for this and $55 for this. It says $65, but I paid $55. The cabinets are intact. There's a little bit of loose veneer down here that'll be easy to repair. All of the wooden knobs are present on, you know, so everything's there. This one's missing a tube, but I've already purchased a tube to replace the one that was missing. It's a dual triode audio amp. It has the preamp and power amp built into one envelope. Worst case, I've got I forget what it is. This is a 6B5, and I have an octal version that's almost identical to it that could be used for replacement. But 6B5s are relatively inexpensive. I was surprised. This will need a new dial face. Most of the lettering is worn off, but I think I can reproduce that fairly easily. This has a very good, although dirty, plastic insert, or I think that's plastic. It may be glass, I'm not sure. Also came with its operating instructions, which is a plus. And now I'm looking at that, I thought it was plastic at first, but it seems to be clear enough. Now that I have it in better light, not sure. It's so dirty. Maybe that is glass. That's always a plus if that's intact. So yeah, that appears to be glass. It is just so dirty that I was sure it was plastic. No, that's glass. Excellent. That'll clean right up. The only problem with this set is all of the acorns fell out when I was hauling it back to the car, but I have plenty of replacement acorns laying out in the yard, so that shouldn't be a problem. We'll be able to splice those in where they belong. But again, came with the operating instructions, and those are pretty much made out of unobtainium. Now you're probably saying, Vern, why did you buy more radios? Well, it's because of the types of tubes that are in here using these sockets. And the reason that is important is I have this piece of test equipment. Now this looks for all the world to be a tube tester. I picked this up at the Spring Flea Market 2023 at Deerfield, New Hampshire. I think I paid $5 for this. And what this is an analyzer. This is not a tube tester as it appears. Let me prop this up here. I have the operating manual. It has all of the adapters. The way this works is if you're having problems in a set, you can pull the tube out, plug it into a socket here. This little wand has all the adapters for the different tube pin types. This plugs back into the radio, and you can measure all the voltages. You can measure, oh excuse me, here's all the tube. It works as a multimeter, voltmeter, AC and DC. The battery compartment is absolutely corrosion free, and these are all your tube pins and your top cap, so that you can check all your voltages, operating voltages, and see what the tube is doing in circuit. I figured it'd be a fun little project to play with this and see how well it worked. Hadn't seen one of these before. I'd heard about them, but the guy just wanted to get rid of it. I guess, oh, it measures capacitance as well. Hadn't spotted that. Capacity up here. I haven't even played with this thing. It was so cheap and so complete that I couldn't pass it up at the time. So that's a project for down the road. And for the guys who kindly donated all the radios, the viewers, you saw those radios I got donated. I'm still working on those. I'm collecting bits and pieces to restore the plastic cabinets, or the on the case of the Zeniths, you know, the paper, it's some kind of a paper covering that goes on them. I want to do those justice when I do them, so I've been slowly collecting parts. They are still in the works. But these sets are nearly 100% intact. A little bit of gluing here. This has got a little tiny piece of veneer missing on the corner. I could easily replace this entire section. It's just flat pieces. Even my meager woodworking skills can deal with that. We'll glue all of this back together, clean these up. I'll replate the tube shields like I did the replating on the ICO VTVM. The chassis itself is fairly clean. It's not in bad shape. As I said, there was a tube missing. So that should be a fairly easy restoration. I should be able to recreate this dial face reasonably easy with either a decal or just make a new one. Somebody's cut the cord off of this. I like seeing that. That means nobody has plugged it in, which means probably nothing's been baked. And again, I'll just have to replate the tube shields. But this set appears to be very intact. There is one small hole in the speaker. This other set, the speaker looks 100% intact inside of this one. I see no damage at all. Lots of dirt and dust, but that's not a problem. So that's what you can get at the flea markets here in New Hampshire. Now, there were tons of radios that were priced hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, which is ludicrous. These were reasonably priced, a little bit more than I like to pay for them, but because they were so intact and the veneer, you know, everything was there. All the knobs are there. The cabinets weren't in horrible condition. I figured these are easily restorable. So that's it. We'll also be going to the Nearfest flea market. That's in a couple of weeks in Deerfield. It'll be just before I leave. We're not going with the intent to buy anything. We're just going to go there and socialize a little bit and wander around. I've spent enough money this year on radio stuff. Take care. Thanks for stopping by and watching. And always hit the flea markets. You never know what you're going to find. I'm the Radio Mechanic. Stay well.